Greetings, my beloved divine child. I am Solarys of Achaenaic service. And what a surprise it is to the one who is speaking right now. What a surprise it is to the one who was meditating just a minute ago that I would speak again. But how could I not speak on this most amazing of days? It would be impossible for me not to do so. You sit in these chairs, my beloved child. You speak to each other. You look towards each other for answers. Your eyes hold the energy of love. Your smiles hold the energy of joy. And every outpouring of freedom is happening every moment throughout the rest of your bodies. Do you know what a special day it is today? It's not a special day on the calendar. It's not a special day for a linear existence or a society that you sit in, but to that which you would call divinity. It is a very special day. And that is why you have gathered here today. That is why you are doing this celebration here today. Let me tell you about this gift of today. Today, on planet Earth, in Asia, the very first child was born that you would call the children of the sun. For the very first time since the Lemurian times, an angelic being returned to earth that has not experienced the things that you have experienced in your societies. And there have been many societies that came before this one. So many. For the very first time, a child came into the planet not attached to the situation of your lives as you are living them today. For the very first time, a child came into the planet that has a brain that is working completely different. For the very first time, today, a child came into the planet carrying the wisdom of the ancients. And I will tell you her name. Her name is Leysola. She's living in a very small province right now, in Asia. And nobody knows how special she is, except for her mother. Her mother looks at her right now as I am speaking these words to you. And she knows this child holds a promise. This child holds the answer to a future that is very close to becoming the now. This child's brain, as I told you already, works from a neutral place. That means that she cannot create thought patterns and belief systems the way you have been doing. It's impossible for her to do so. And as she'll grow up, the very first years of her life, you will notice that it is difficult for her to speak, to even put one and one together. It's going to be impossible for her to communicate to the outside world, but within her, she will carry a wisdom, a truth that has not been present on this planet for a very long time. And this is the result of your actions. This is what I wanted to talk to you about and will continue to talk to you about tonight. The result of your actions. Because you see, dear ones, beloved ones, once again, as it has been before, the path is crystal clear. crystal clear in such a way that all of the hardship, all of the old things that were still present within your lives will now no longer be showing up on your path. Oh. The channel says he thinks that is hard to believe. The channel says, Solarys, why are you saying these things? I just ran into problems today. Oh yes. Yes, you did. And so did some of you here, and some who will listen to these words later on. But I tell you, the arrival of this child, holding unity consciousness within her very core, within her very cells, is changing life. Is the result of your actions that you have been undertaking for more than 20 years and longer in some cases. And now it has become manifest. This will change many things in your lives. And I would like to talk to you about these things. Let us begin. First of all, the relationship that you have to the world around you at this very moment is breaking down. Because the relationship itself is no longer necessary. A relationship entails the existence of two objects relating to each other, or more objects relating to each other. And this is a law of separation. And that law of separation is gone. Oh, it's difficult for you to comprehend these things right now, because here you sit, wearing your clothes, sitting on your chairs, listening to these words. But, I am going to do something today that I have not done before. I am going to ask you and guide you in changing your experience. As I am bringing in these words, and my voice is a little bit different than normal, but as I'm bringing in these words, I am creating an akeneic field underneath you, underneath all of you. And it is going to start building up in this room. It is going to change your perception of you in relationship to all the other things around you. And if you open up to this akeneic field, you have about an hour to do that. And you will have a moment where you will experience yourself in every object and person and thing in this room. But as it is an akeneic experience, this also means that when I say every object and person and thing in this room, I mean to say from the very moment this room was first created till the last moment this room will be used. And that is a normal Gaian experience. That is a normal Lemurian experience, and that is the experience that this child called Leysola is having right now. She is actually connecting to everyone here and everyone listening to these words at a later date. And if you open up your heart, you can feel that connection take place. Oh, oh, blessed human, blessed child. I must share with you why my voice sounds different today. I must share with you why it is different for the channel today to come through and to translate these words back to you. Because as it is happening, he is also sharing this Achaenaic experience. These words and the energy that they belong to are now flooding through the timeline and touching everyone who has been here, who is here, and who will be here in this room. And he is seeing all of this take place. There was a moment about 2 weeks ago when there was a couple here who were having a linear fight, not wanting their friends to see it. And through the eyes of the channel, I now see how that fight is changed. Because for them, it would have been the last mile on their way to a separation. And the fight didn't happen, and it got replaced by love. Do you understand what this means? Do you understand the beauty that is upon you today? Do you see the ability that you have today to change your outlook and your lives completely? Do you see that you are reaching the end of an era? An era that had a path that was filled with obstacles. And all of these obstacles were lessons for all of you to go through. But as I said at the beginning of this message, the path is now crystal clear. Leysola has a heart that is pure crystal energy. Everything that happens in her life, everything that she touches, turns crystal clear. You have done the clearing, beloved child. And now you are in clarity. And this is a new concept altogether, because clearing used to be very big for you. Clearing used to be something that you did almost every day in some cases. And you kept doing it, and doing it, and doing it, as you were given in to your linear existence here on planet Earth. But now, there is only clarity. All that remains now is to make the choice. In about 3 hours from now, the second child of the sun will be born. And another one 2 hours from then. In about a day and a half from now, the first child of the sun will be born right here in the United States that we're sitting in right now. And you will see the impact that will have on this country. And those are just the first scouts. Those are just the first pioneers. As they come and test the waters, so to speak. Because some have come before, tried it, and could only remain in the body for about a second years ago. But this one, Leysola, with her, the process worked. This means that this child did not have to forget anything, and that the veil is not working with her. And this, of course, strongly relates back to your Lemurian experience, all the way back when. The veil wasn't present then. It also means that unity consciousness now offers you the ability to do the exact same thing. And that is so magnificent. It is difficult for me right now to keep my energy here in the body and here in the room, because to me and my experience, so many beautiful things are happening on the planet right now. And there are voices right now asking me, your voices in some cases, Solarys, share us these experiences. Speak about these things. I cannot. For you see, an akeneic experience, a true akeneic experience, which is infinite and divine, cannot be communicated through words. It's impossible to do so. Words would bring it into a linear field, a linear existence. But as I promised you, I will do something better. As this akeneic energy is filling the space that you're sitting in and is opening up the akeneic center of each and every one of your cells. Can you feel that? You are now regaining the ability of infinity, the ability of divinity. And for some of you here, it might feel like aspects of personality are now dissipating. For some of you, it might feel as though the name that you have carried in this life doesn't mean much anymore. You don't quite know what to do with it. That is because that name and that personality were bound to time and space, and the being that is waking up inside of you ever so gently is not. Oh, I also see how many of you, and not just here in this room, but listening to this as well, are resisting this. Just keep holding on to your linear experience, because it is all you have ever known, in this lifetime at least. And it scares you, in some cases, because what will be next? What will your life and your focus and your experience be like? How can one function? These are all questions coming out of your heads. How can one function in a third-dimensional society when the focus of consciousness is no longer shifted into one body, but shifted into all of reality throughout all time and all space together? Well, for some of you, it might be a little bit difficult at first. But very shortly, you will see that these things will shift again, and you will regain your ability to focus wherever you want to focus. Most of you, as you are still working with the people of this planet, most of you will still choose for the biggest part of their day to focus their consciousness in one specific body, because it will allow you to connect to the old paradigm world where you work. But this, my beloved, is the difference. The old paradigm world has now become the workspace. And a new level of experience has opened up for you. The living space will be much grander than you have experienced before. And for some of you, it will take to the moment that you are in bed at night and you start to drift away for the first part of the experience to come in. Because that is when you usually let go. That which is called the neutral neurons are also present within Leysola's brain. and it does something to her eyes. Let me tell you a little bit about free energy senses or akeneic senses. Let me tell you. Your three-dimensional senses look at the vibrational field that is in front of you and give you the appearance of separate objects being in a space with you. Your akeneic senses cannot do that anymore. You have always walked around on this earth and you have always seen a paradigm that is not really there. But that is the result of your belief systems. Now these neutral neurons cannot manifest these belief systems again. The way the brain connects to the senses as such is, at this very moment, becoming completely different. Let's focus on that for a while. Let's bring that in. Can you feel what happens when your eyes look out into a vibrational field and do not separate all the vibrations and all the frequencies, but experience them all as one? This is what you have been waiting for, because so very long and so very often people come towards the channel and they say, it is easy for me to see beauty, for instance, in nature, but it is much more difficult for me to see beauty in a concrete-built city, or to see beauty in a place where people are suffering and where people are dying. When you look through akeneic eyes, what you will see when you are standing in nature and when you are standing in one of the big cities that you have here will be the same. Because behind it you will see the truth of that which is not being reflected in the matrix that normally runs your reality. The matrix that normally runs your reality is nothing more than a conscious program, basically, that tells you that this vibration in this moment of time and space right there will look like that, will have that color, will smell like that, will taste like that. And it's all coded, it's all programmed. But if that is turned around, that means that everything that you smell smells like everything. And depending on the moment of the akeneic experience, you will choose what it smells like, for instance, or what it looks like. You have always thought that when we started talking about the inner portal, that this would be a portal that would be giving you the ability to go from place to place, but the inner portal is quite different. The inner portal brings all space and all time right here in this moment of the now, and you are in the center or in the heart of all things always. This is how the Lemurian lived. And this is the life that you are taking back. Again, these seem like strange words to the channel, but also to others, because they are being spoken in a space that for most doesn't feel quite different at all. As you switched, however, from normal 3D linear experience to infinite akeneic experience, which is the experience of divinity, you must now learn to relinquish control. You must learn that the way you have been defining vibration has always been under your control. And that you can let that go. As I will talk in the coming weeks about the elements and the bending of them, you will see that the heart of all things, in all objects and people alike, is exactly the same. And that is what we've been saying from the very beginning. And that also means that, as was said before, a gun can turn into a flower. You have that ability now. Imagine what happens when somebody is threatening you with a gun and you turn it into a flower. Because the essence, the heart of the gun and the heart of the flower is exactly the same thing. Understanding that is the key to total freedom. Understanding that is the existence in the paradise of your own creation. My beloved child, nothing can touch you. Nothing can hamper you now. The only hiccup that you will experience in the coming weeks is the constant shift from the way you were told to program and experience reality to the freedom of actually experiencing totality within all things. And to the brain, of course, it is incomprehensible, because how can looking at a flower be the same thing like experiencing a flower on the other side of the planet? But that is what I am telling you. As you will connect to that flower, you will feel the heart of all things, of all flowers, everywhere, throughout time and space. And that is the beauty of totality as it is experienced in this field of life. That is why this place, this earth, was created in the first place. The Pleiadians have been trying to tell you for decades. They have told you that this is the library of the cosmos. They have told you this time and time and time again, and that all things are to be found here. And then the human brain would say, how can all things that must fit in an entire cosmos fit in an entire planet? The planet should be too small. Yes, in this reality. But connect to that flower and see what happens as the essence of the concept of the flower itself will appear before you. That is divinity. And that is what Leysola is seeing with her very petite eyes, her very young eyes that normally in normal children would not yet have generated eyesight. But when she looks up at her mother, who stands above her crib and looks at her, she sees all of humanity. And she sees all life forms everywhere in that one person. And when she drinks from her mother's breast, she doesn't just take for herself, but she feeds all of humanity. And she feeds all of life. And this is not a unique thing to her. This is the choice that you can also make today. Imagine, because I know some of you will probably go for dinner later on. What would happen if the plate of food is set in front of you, and in it reflected you see all food everywhere? And with every bite that you take, you do not just feel your own stomach filling up, but you feel the stomach of humanity filling up. Do you understand the concept that I'm talking about? Do you understand how this akeneic experience is the answer for hunger on planet Earth? Do you understand how this akeneic experience is the answer to nearly everything on planet Earth? Because, let's say this, if you are in an akeneic experience, experiencing what it is like to be alive, you will transmit that life, the energy of that life to all, so there can be no death. And I know that for some of you listening to this right now, it must sound crazy. No death. Get real. Oh yes, it is getting real. It is finally getting real again. And this is the promise. The promise that was buried within you, all of you, long ago. This is the result of your action. And now there must be patience. Because of course you could say, when you would be in your mind and in your thought patterns, you would say, result of my actions? Nice words you're using, Solarys, but I'm not seeing it. I'm not feeling it. Do you understand, human, that in an akeneic experience, and do you understand, Gaian, that in an akeneic experience, saying, I do not feel it, means that you created it. That is how you control all things. Every morning you wake up and you recreate the same space around you that you left as you went to bed. And you do this because of programming. You do this because this is how the mind works. It is very much like a linear computer. You could almost say that the brain is saving all the information that was present when you were running the reality that you are sitting in your brain. And so when you boot up in the morning and you go into the body and you go into the mind and you go into the spirit and you go into the ish, especially the first two, the brain is given a signal that it must reload the same space and reload it several hours down the road. The reality around you is not what you think. Let us return to Leysola. This child, and this is what is getting her mother worried at this moment, does not sleep. She does not cry either. All she does is experience. She breathes, but only because she knows that otherwise her mother would flip out completely. And she is planning to keep that up until she can actually speak to her mother and say that it is all right. Oh, my beloved child, do you understand why this wonderful divine one first entered the Asian realms, and even more specifically China? Because, and this is not to create fear, this is to celebrate, because China and the governments within the Chinese regime were basically a blueprint for the way your world might have turned out if you had not stepped in action. It's all in the divine plan. Her presence right there will create freedom in that country. Freedom of speech, freedom of thought, freedom to love, freedom to pray, freedom to exercise and work with the ancient meridian systems that is sometimes not allowed in that country. And if one child will do that over there, what will happen, you think, to your United States? They will become real. They will become United States. Again, that is what is right ahead. That is what is about to happen. The way your government and the governments on most places of the earth are working right now will soon become very difficult to continue, because the voice of humanity will speak once again and will no longer be silenced by false gods, almost, that you would call entertainment. The truth will be placed back into the heart space. And this will also happen to your leaders, who will not call themselves leaders. I'm going to ask for a moment of silence, because there have been many words already that I have been speaking. But actually, I want to go beyond the words for a moment. I want to invite you to actually go into the silence and the stillness and to experience that which I was just speaking about. I will return in about a minute. Now you're in this space. Let's see what happens when you connected with your body to all of humanity, when you choose to love yourself. Let's see what happens as you start to experience how this love gets amplified and sent to everyone here in this room. It can be experienced by everyone here in this room, and you will start to experience the love of everyone here in this room as they are experiencing it for themselves. Let's go into that. So start sending love towards yourself. Do you feel that? Do you feel what is happening? For the very first time, to some here, you can actually experience what happens when someone says, "I love you." Experience the love in their body, in their spirit for you. And as you do this, and continue to do this. That's the invitation, at least. How about you connect to this beautiful being called Leysola, because she has got something to say to you. She has got something to say to all of humanity. The reason why she is called a child of the sun is that a group of 4,444 that were living in the liquid Lemurian times left the earth as Lemuria vanished from the planet. And instead of reincarnating, they chose to go back to the central sun and remain there until the time was right to bring this purity back to earth. And that is what they're doing. And that is why this first one has a message for all of you. And the message will come in the form of a song, as she will sing to you on the inside. Allow this to happen. Let her song wash away the programming of a difficult path and allow the path to become crystal clear. I use these words, crystal clear, several times in this little talk of mine, because that is what everything really is. Everything is crystal clear. No matter what you think might have happened in the past, I challenge you to see things crystal clear again. To look at things, people, places, events, as though no prior experience with them was had. That is crystal clear. That is see-through. And in doing that, and in seeing every person or thing or place or event in your life in this way, you can connect it to all of humanity. Now you will notice that this is not my normal type of message. The reason is very simple. Although you have already listened to messages delivered by this voice called Solarys in the past, this one, in my experience, is actually the first one that I deliver right now. Can you understand how this works? Can you understand how Akenaic experience works? You spread yourself out through the timeline and focus your consciousness and awareness and attention like little pinpoints, little needle points that you put into this white sheet of paper. But you don't necessarily put the first one at the beginning. The first message that I ever delivered was actually about I'll give you the exact number, was the 32nd one that I delivered in my experience. This is reality for you. This can be a reality for you. You see, this is how you can start doing things. It is also happening to several people on the planet already, as they wake up and they're 50 years in the future, go back to sleep, and they're 30 years in the past. And you know what? When the scare wore off, they actually started enjoying it. And now they have a guide called Leysola. Someone made in your image, with your energy, that will bring this freshness into things. No one out there will probably remember this day 10 years from now. To most it will just have been any other day. But a motion is happening on planet Earth. And what appears for some to be 10 years from now, to you will appear completely different. Time is becoming a private and personal experience again. Not one that is experienced as a whole, with boundaries and minutes and seconds and all of these things, because that is when natural time stopped, basically, when you started inventing the watch. But time will become this fluid experience. And for some here on earth who are going to be later in this process, although everybody is going to get involved in the process finally, but for some here on earth, 10 years down the road, 2018, for instance, might still be a regular 3D experience for them. Because the linear time will continue until everybody is ready to step out of it. But when it does end, and when Akenaic time, natural time, comes back into play, I guarantee there will be no difference between their experience 10 years hence and your experience. There will be no more difference. It won't feel as though 10 years have passed for them and you have shifted into this other thing altogether. It is very difficult to explain, and I feel that the words that I'm trying to put out through the channel are difficult to find because words are so meaningless. Words are so, how shall I say? Yes. Words are so Can you imagine a life of stillness? Can you imagine stepping beyond vibration? And can you imagine that this is the teaching that all the masters have always wanted you to have? Always. They are sharing this information with you. But now that an actual child of the sun has been born on this planet, the very first time I speak in my experience, now you can actually start connecting the dots. So basically you will notice that the theoretical classes are over. And that if you go back to the wisdom that has been shared for so many years now, that you will be able to start using it in a practical way. As this year of divinity continues, I want you to know how happy I am to be you. I want you to know what a wonderful place my home is as it lives inside of your chest, in the Akene. And I want you to know that you are magical. I want you to know that you have made it. I want you to know that you are not going to miss out if that is still what you think. Some, even though they have done so much work on themselves, listen to so many words, and are such good people, still think they're not good enough. Don't they? But I'll tell you this. You are perfect. You are perfect the way you are. You are perfect beauty. Perfect wisdom. You are perfect in every way. And as you shed your skin of linearity ever so gradually in the coming times, you will see what I mean when I said what I said. Oh, beloved ones, please allow me to wash your feet and to bathe you in love. Please allow me to call you the teachers and the stewards of this new earth. Please allow me to let you know that your work has delivered what it needed to deliver. And that from now on, things are going to be quite different in the way you work with reality, in the way you work with life. There have been those on the planet in the last few days who are actually experiencing how they choose their reality, as some people have been in positions where they were having a conversation, and to one person the conversation was a fight, and to the other person the conversation was love-making. That is how you choose your reality. It is all the same vibration, you see. There is no difference anymore in the vibration of warfare and the vibration of love-making. It is just how you perceive it. So, wherein then lies the difference? It doesn't lie in the field of vibration that is out there. It lies within your very own vibration and your very own essence. You see? And if you start to understand this, then you also understand how you can create your reality all over again. It is your perception. It is your vision. You choose to be this linear being or to be this akeneic being. Isn't it time that you start erasing history? Isn't it time that you start waiting for a future? Isn't it time that you discover the now in all of its totality? Well, that is the gift that Leysola brought in as she came back to the planet. She knows all of you, all of your names. She has the memories of the Lemurian era. And her birth here on this planet is the end of life as you know it. The channel keeps asking for more words. The channel wants to continue this moment right now. But I won't. I have said what I needed to say. And as my experience with this sharing will grow, my words will become more complete. Of course, to you, you have already witnessed these moments of speech, which is very interesting. You thought you were having a linear experience all the time, and it wasn't. So allow me now to retreat back into this beautiful space that is your heart space, for it is my home. One last thing I will ask you, as I explained in the course of this message. Start doing your actions and connect them to all of life and all of humanity, like I told you about the food that you might eat. Start doing this, and you will see the effect it has on the entire planet. As your body lives within the body of all of those around you, one bite for you can mean 8 billion bites for Gaia. One person looking at the sun, enjoying the moment, can be 8 people experiencing this. And even for those who are still in a linear existence, they might not know what is happening to them, but all of a sudden they might no longer care about the traffic jam, or about the boss, or about the money, or about all of these things, because they will feel what it feels like for that one person who is looking at the sun. That is happening now. So start looking at yourselves from this perspective. Start seeing yourselves from this angle and see what it does in your lives. The time of love making is once again at hand, and it is beautiful. And as I go, I will leave you and re-enter you with these 3 simple truths that are not just limited to me, but also extend to you. For this is your essence. And your essence is telling you this: I am in love with you. I am in joy with you. And I am in freedom with you. I love you more than words could ever say. And so it is.
Oceans of time, we're coming from places we once left behind. We're looking for love in the heart of every man. We're looking for reasons we'll all understand. We are in need. We want a place for everyone. We shine through love. We are the children of the sun. We follow our dreams, we'll never stop. We follow our hopes, and we'll never give up until we have found the warmth of the sun, until we are one. We are in need. We want a place for everyone. We shine through love. We are forever on the run. We are in need. We want a place for everyone. We shine through love. We are the children of the sun. We're coming from far, over oceans of time. We're coming from places we once left behind. We're looking for love in the heart of every man. We're looking for reasons we'll all understand. We follow our dreams, we'll never stop. We follow our hopes, and we'll never give up until we have found the warmth of the sun, until we are the children of the sun.